So today we have a deep run from the Unibet Online Series belts. It's me, Doke, in the mix, and let's see how it turns out. Alright, let's not waste any time and let's get into it. Yesterday I played a final table. Let's look into some ICM spots we had. As you can see on the left top corner here, Doke is seated as well. I did have a fair bit of notes from my opponents by this time. A big shout out to Doke and David Lappin who taught me how to say opponents. Shout out. Alright, so yeah, I think we're gonna be skipping through a lot because some spots aren't that interesting. I'm going with a delayed c-bet here. Willen has a lot of fours in his range. We don't have pretty much any, only ace-4 suited. And so I don't want to do too much c-betting here. We could go for a protection bet on turn as well. Still opted to check back again because Willen could play to turn with 4x's as well by checking and check x, given the turn was a queen x. I was having another deep run at the same time, but I was still keeping my focus on this table. And we fold. I sometimes bluff there as well, but we'll give it to him. Right. I think we can skip forward a bit. Yeah. So this is something different than in regular chip EV spot. In chip, okay, no, there's a free bet income. I would have potentially folded this hand as well. In a chip EV spot, I would flat, but in the final table, we need more equity. Overall, let's go through this as well. As we can see on our left, WS Champion OP has a big stack, so we are kind of like handcuffed here. It depends always on the player style, but let's say he's aggressive, he knows how to put pressure on us, then we have to be really careful. So when he's a really active guy, then I wouldn't even limp, but because the final table just started, I wanted to see what is my opponent's strategy. So I decided to limp and see how he reacts to it. When he isolates here, I'm gonna be skipping all limping spots like this. And that's literally what happened. I got the information I wanted to know, and we can act accordingly going forwards. This is somewhat interesting as well. We do want to apply pressure to shorter stacks, but there are so many rejam stacks. Mental Geller could rejam here, Doke could potentially rejam, Fistio Bum could rejam, Master guy as well could reach him. So I opted to limp in this spot. I will have hands that I can limp call. They're champs. Doing some clipperinos. So yeah, let's see how it turns out. That's a great flop for us. I think we're going with a min bet here and doing fair bit of barreling against 8x and 2-6 because he has like 100% range, not 100 but 100% of his shit part of range. I can see myself checking back 8x, not too happy about it. Even though most of the time I think my opponent leads when he gets the trips here. Going for 10 value there against 2-6. Quite sure we're gonna fold this hand. We still have big stack on our left. Previously we limped 6-9 off, but we learned that this opponent could potentially isolate us. So against a big stack, we don't wanna chip in away. We're gonna play fairly tight against him. He can apply so much pressure to us. Yeah, chip BB and ICM spots are so different, but these are so much fun. So this is actually somewhat interesting as well. I think we can open, we can go both ways. Really dependent on the big stack here, how he plays. If we free bets a lot, we should be limping. on the morning coffee grind here. Obviously folding if we face a jam. I think it didn't go by jam, I think it checked behind. So my plan here is to take a stab, fold out their 6 card holdings, because if they both have 6 outs, they have 12 outs, and that's a lot of equity. And most of the time I have the best hand here with the king high. I think min bet should do the work. Shouldn't get floated too much. 10 jack, 10 queen, 2 overs definitely, 10-8. Cards that's around 9 will float. And we have the 10 as well. You could definitely have some jack X floats from time to time. So I was planning to barrel, and you could see it, and I was like, oh, well, we have enough showdown value. So, and quickly checked behind the river as well for the same reasoning, and we both had the king high. This was a really interesting hand, actually. Doke limps, blind versus blind, 20 bigs effective. Min bets the flop. Villain thinks and raises 3x. Interesting. The problem for Fistio Bomb raise here is 20 bigs effective. He's very likely to jam most of his ace-6 against Doke's limp here. That would be my reasoning. And I can see where he's coming from by applying pressure to Doke, because like Doke, he could guess that Doke doesn't have that much ace-6 as well. Though nowadays people limp a fair bit with ace-6 as well. So we went 25% on turn, really small, and 8-4 off third pot on the river as well. As you can see, Doke had ace jack, well played by him. A dream spot incoming, 8 big blind jams from middle position. Sam Bilzerian gets it in as well. We're already ready to click the all-in button. Didn't want to slow roll too long as well, because our range is really strong anyway when I call. I'm not really getting called by worse. We hold this one, and this is a game changer. This is changing the dynamics fair bit for us, because we have now more than 60 bigs. We have more than the previous big stack here on our left. 16 bigs, 37 for Doke, 10 and 20 bigs. So we can start open up a fair bit more now. Still the question of should we be limping instead of raising in some spots, because people can rejam still into us. This was kind of interesting. I was really considering free betting here and applying a lot of pressure to Doke. At the same time, I felt like it's gonna be so obvious. Somewhat a good spot for a check raise as well. Doke elects to go with a bigger sizing here, 60%, which made me not to go for a raise. So, and I really appreciate that big sizing in final tables to apply more pressure. Smaller holdings, weaker hands. Right. Quite sure I'm using raising strategy now instead of limping. Only mental color can rejam into us. Of course, we're folding to a rejam. The champion here on our left, he doesn't have so much power against us anymore, so we're happy to raise our holdings. Seems we're on a break. Let's go through. Yeah. So 14 big blind limp here. Wasn't completely sure. Quite sure it was his first limp, so somewhat iffy. definitely considering check jam in here as well. Not really even sure why I elected to go for a check call. Potentially for the limp my opponent did. Bit of uncertainty in his range choice. And thought Queen X is a hand he could potentially barrel as well. And it's a split by the river. If it's folded to us, I'm quite sure we're going with a raise to apply more pressure now, as we can do it. You can see we go with a raise here as well. Ron is back from his shopping trip. I elected to go with a bigger sizing here. Maybe get him off some of 3x suited hands by doing this. He has a second pair, he holds. Not that many rejams now. This allows us to open up more. Only guy is the big blind with rejam. Mental Galler as well, I guess 24-ish big blinds. Big blind does jam and we fold. Same case here, open up, jack 10 off. Not a standard hand, but being a chip leader on final table, we're gonna open up our opening range. Undergun raise 22 biggers, and I was really in between. Should we just rip it in, like 32 bigs effective with champion? But I decided that I should induce in this spot. That I could potentially be out of line here with king jack off, king queen off, hands like that. So I'm going with an induce. I changed the table size during play, so we have to edit it here. Be back in a moment. I really hope you enjoyed it so far. There's a lot of tricky spots coming up, and we're gonna use a couple of tools, especially Hold'em Resources Calculator. If you've used it before and you know how to use it, then feel free to scroll forwards, because it's gonna be detailed. It's not really gonna be detailed, but it's potentially not for you, then just skip it forwards. Other than that, let's continue. Back we are with a little edit here. So I opened that ace king, mental galler folded. I'm quite sure we're going in with a raise here. Only mental galler could potentially rejam into us. Took defense. I'm happy to go both ways, see bet or check behind. Now let's go with mental with the plastic factor. And I felt it was kind of interesting that he elected to lead here. I'm quite sure I'm doing a fair bit of overfolding when I fold in this spot, to be honest. What else I have here? I have 9s, 8s. Lower pocket pairs I bet for protection reasonings to deny equity. I have ace king here. I have ace 10 here. I have queen x here. A lot of queen x suited in my opening range from cutoff while being a big stack. You're probably gonna hear Rona chewing now as well. Doke sets a trap. Trap incoming, boys. Works like a charm. Or does it? No, it doesn't, in some ways. Well played by Doke. seems I was in between here. Should I raise or should I not? Because Mental Geller is a rejam stack. Now Doke is a rejam stack. And Big Blind as well. Big Blind usually doesn't rejam that much. They tend to flat more, so that's fine. But having two rejam stacks here, I was kind of in between. Should we be opening? Like I said as well before, it's final table, so we're opening up lighter with the big stack, applying pressure. Never opening that in a standard GPV situation. Same case now, it's not a standard race, but our opponent is on a third place right now. I want to apply pressure to this stack. There are big money jumps involved. Should actually show you what are the money jumps as well. Where are you? Pull it on top here. Oh, we get rejammed, obviously fault. As you can see, I elected to limp this time. Both are rejam stacks. As you can see, well, this this is kind of a giveaway. Whoopsies. So we're definitely in top 3 in this tournament, and as you can see, Doke finished 6th and stuff. But I wanted to show it to you for the money jump reasons: 300, 344, 388, 439, 629. So actually, it's going pretty smooth until 5th place, and then the jumps are incoming 860, 1100, and so forth. But let's get back into it. Here opens King Queen. This is a bit dicey as well. There are 2 rejams, Doke, Mental Geller. I went with a really big sighting here. I'm not really sure if you should be doing this. We should actually think it through. Stack to pot ratio, aka SPR, is 3, so Villain, the effective stack, aka Villain stack, is 3 times the pot. If I bet small here, I benefit from 9x calling, Jack-X calling, potentially. So we should elect to go with a smaller sizing. By betting big, we're gonna push away all Jack-X, 9x, apply too much pressure to them. So I'm not a fan of this sizing. So I think we should go fairly smallish. Like 10x is never folding anyway, potentially never. I think we should go between 25 and 30. We have a pretty strong hand here still, so we want to put Jack and 9x in the tough spot, and by tough spot I mean using a small sizing, which makes it easier for them to call and make mistakes against our exact holding. So not a fan of that big sizing. This is kind of interesting as well. So Villain limps here. 15 big blinds effective. Decided to check it back. As you can see, I checked it back really quick as well. I think there is a chance that my opponent is trapping me for a bit, and I didn't want to blow up my equity by bet folding here. And I don't think he's gonna fold his 10x most of the time on flop. On our turn, because we don't have ace-x. We always rip our ace-x most of the time against his 15 big blind limp, so we're not actually credibly repping that much. So I checked behind my king high, and Villain has jacks. We got away. Followed to us, we plan to raise it up, apply pressure. This is gonna be a fold. Oh, let's see that timing wise. This is a hand I didn't like at all how it went, how I played it. Let's see timing, Doke's timing. Okay, Doke grips 257k. I want to see my timing. My timing is really important here because I'm really interested. Did I use all the time bank I had for this decision, or I just clicked on it? I went into the time bank. But not enough, I think. So let's look at this spot. Doke runs ICM spots. He studies fair bait, so he knows what's up. He has to be really tight in this spot. We are 6 left in the tournament. There is 2 players shorter than him as well, and he probably has a fair bit of age here. Say hi to Mr. Espen. So he probably has a fair bit of age here in this field. He has done his study. Oh, we have the blue shirt grind today. Bang bang.
What are you playing?
I'm not playing. I'm reviewing yesterday's tournaments.
Oh.
Yes.
On Twitch?
No, it's going to our YouTube channel.
Oh. Alright.
So Doke jams 18 big blinds, and I ran this spot in HRC, Hold'em Resource Calculator. If you don't have it, I advise you to get it. It's a must if you play tournament poker. It doesn't cost much as well, so it's a pretty good investment in the future of your poker game. Anyway, I didn't realize, to be honest, that's a big mistake that Doke jammed 18 big blinds. Like, what hands does he open jam there? I don't think he jams like small pairs. The smallest pair I think he jams is like 7s. That's iffy. 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, maybe jacks. I also don't think he open jams aces, kings, and queens, because that's what he wants to induce. Raise and call off. Let's say he raises queens there. I could re-jam ace queen here. He can call it off and do it as a trap. Ace king, he could play by raise calling. He could open jam. I'm quite sure he open jams ace queen. Not sure he open jams ace jack. Other possibilities are ace x suited. What I mean by that is, let's say he has ace 5 of clubs. Obviously we have the ace of clubs right now. Ace 5 of hearts, ace 10 of diamonds, like suited ace x's. But let's open up Hold'em Resources and see what the true answer is for this question. So I gave reasonable holdings to his opponents. What could they call? If you look at here, I think Fistio Bomb could call here potentially 10s, ace king, ace queen suited. Wolfheart, the same hands. Me as well. Like, I was tanking ace queen off, and I think it's terrible to call this hand before running the sim already. So, but if I call here ace queen off, it means potentially other players could call ace queen off as well, aka wider than I did the sim. I think champion, we're all calling like pretty similar range, 10s, potentially ace queen, maybe 9s as well. But it's a really, really deep jam. So if our opponents call 10s and ace king only, 9s ace queen off, let's even go tighter. Let's state that everyone calls 10s and ace king. So they're calling really, really tight. What can Doke actually jam under the gun? And so this is pretty much it. 10s are profitable. Jacks, queens, king check suited, ace 10 suited, ace jack off, king queen off is 0, so we don't want to take this spot. And this is only when everyone calls super tight, which is the case for most of the time, but it's hard to believe that ace queen suited is not getting called here. It's already fairly tight range. Let's see what happens if people start calling ace queen suited. Doke can jam 10s, ace queen off, king queen suited, ace jack suited. And in game you saw I called ace queen off as well, so let's state Everyone calls. Hero calls ace queen off 25% time. Same for button and small blind, just some players a bit wider. And now we can see which is potentially the most realistic jam here in his spot. We should jam 10s, ace queen off, and ace queen, so 10s and ace queen. But let's look at it from my perspective now. What can we actually call when he doesn't jam like queens plus, because he probably doesn't. Let's say he doesn't jam ace king as well. It jams. Let's say he makes a bit of mistake here. Jams eights to jacks, ace queen. As you can see, ace king off is slightly profitable, so we could take this spot. 10s and ace king pretty much. But without going through the numbers, let's look at this spot. I have 560k. Other players have 300k max. This means we're in such a good spot. We can raise a lot. We can apply so much pressure. We can raise wider. We can raise fold. So taking a spot, let's say we have ace king off here. We're taking a spot where we give our opponent a range of ace queen and only pairs. So at best we have the same hand, or maybe we're even behind when he jams ace king, or we're flipping. This is not a good spot to take, and we should really consider the stack playability we have. I think it's terrible play to call it off here, because let's say he jams cutoff, it's completely different. Let's see, like he could have more ace-x suited because he doesn't want to raise fold and he thinks it's profitable to open jam them. Then we should call, but in here I'm risking so much. I'm risking half my, let's say the worst case right now, I lose this spot. I lose 260k, I will be down to 300k. Doke will be the chippy. I have 300k. I'm like rest of the plebs here. Like I cannot do anything. I'm handcuffed. I just have to wait and wait for the good hand and wait for an opportunity to do rejam, get it in, hoping for the best. But right now, what happens? What's the best possibility? I win 260,000. My stack will be 820, and I can raise any two. And what else though? If I fold here, I have 560k. Doke stays still at 300k, and I can still raise any two. So the benefit is too low compared to what we can lose from this situation. So I think without running numbers, that's the best way to think about this spot. It's just like, what are the benefits and what is the worst scenario? And I think this is not the spot to take. Doke had 10s, Mental Galler found aces, we're down to 300k now. Not fun, but this was definitely one of the interesting spots in this tournament. As you can see, we're in a tough spot now. We can't open at all. We should definitely change this, because I'm headed to Glasgow now, not Malta anymore. This is so fucking old. Oh my god, this is terrible. Sorry for this terrible commercial down there. And we lost fist your bum, ace queen versus jack, standard spot. Yeah, now we are in a tough spot. This is interesting. I think we should, maybe we should run it. Let's run it. Let's go together with the whole resources so you can see how it's done. We type in the blinds here, which is 16,000, 8,000 with ante of 2k. Bottom has 263,000. From the bottom here, we elect ICM because it's ICM spot. We also have the price pool here on the right. There's no bounties, and we run the spot. So the Nesh tells us 16 big blinds effective. States us that this is a profitable open jam. We should also open jam all ace-6 suited, 10-9 suited, all pairs, ace-9 off. Let's go through the ranges though. What does a small blind call when we jam here? When we jam 16 bigs? Does it risk calling 5s here? I don't think most people risk calling 5s here. Potentially not even 7s, ace-10 suited. Not sure even if he calls this, but let's make it worse for us. Let's look at the worst scenario. Calls 6s, calls 8 suited. This is by far the worst, I think, because he cannot risk his turn on life in this spot as well. What does big blind call though? I think big blind is fairly happy to call us off. He could potentially call 5s. 15 bigs. But yeah, not really much wider. Not really much wider. So go over this spot when the hero jammed on the button, small blind called. What will big blind overcall? Seems fairly reasonable. And if we look at the best response here, by far the best play I think is the open jam here. Deuces 9x suited, ace-x suited. Ace-x suited are always fairly good in ICM spots. When you're in between, then sometimes ace-x suited performs better than pairs, as you can see here as well. Pocket deuces 0.02 equals the same as ace-4 suited, ace-3 suited here. So yeah, suited Broadway. King-9 suited, as you can see, it's the bottom. So me not jamming, maybe it's not that bad after all, because we don't know exactly the value of limping. This could potentially be, like, can't be much worse than 0.01, right? Anyway, let's get back into it. So anyway, a limp, usually the plan is to limp call. But with our effective stack 16 bigs, I like it not to, because I think he isolates 3.5x as well. I don't think he isolates with worse holdings. So decided to fold it, give it away. Maybe we should make it a two-part series, to be honest, because this is gonna continue for a fair bit, then I need to start playing 30 minutes. So let's continue this part, the freeway part, in the next series. It's gonna be so many spots in this freeway situation. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm happy you guys spent the time with me. If you enjoyed it, leave the comments down below. Ask anything, we can run it. And yeah, I have horns now. GG. Bye bye. This was part 1, and definitely part 2 coming up, because now we're free-handed. Heaps of spots coming in. And if you've enjoyed it so far, leave us a thumbs up and comment down below. Let us know what you want to see in the next episode. Catch us.